Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about a vehicle that looks like somebody lost a bet at a junkyard in 1978 and never emotionally recovered from it. Imagine a battered late -1930s Dodge sedan meeting a half-dead camper trailer under the hot desert sun, and instead of calling a therapist, somebody welded them together and said, "Yep, this is art now." That glorious mechanical fever dream became the Cabana car, one of the weirdest rolling creations ever born inside the chaotic genius laboratory known as Full Custom Garage. And honestly, I respect it. In a world where every modern crossover looks like it was designed by accountants wearing grey socks, this thing has personality leaking from every rusty seam. The roots of the Cabana car go back to a rough old Dodge from around 1937 to 1939, although the curves and fender details make many people lean toward 1939. Back then, Dodge was producing sturdy American automobiles during a complicated era when the United States was slowly climbing out of the Great Depression. Cars of that period were built with dramatic flowing fenders, rounded hoods, thick steel bodies, and enough chrome to blind a politician at sunset. They were stylish but durable machines aimed at middle-class Americans who wanted reliability mixed with a touch of class. The poor Dodge used for this project, however, had already suffered through previous custom experiments before the Cabana car ever existed. The roof had been removed during an earlier full custom garage build, leaving the old machine looking like a retired boxer missing several teeth. Most people would have sent it straight to the crusher. But custom builders see junk the same way treasure hunters see gold. The second half of the puzzle came from a neglected travel trailer sitting in a dusty lot under the desert heat. It was cracked, chipped, faded, and filled with random junk. Pool equipment scattered around the camper only made it look sadder, like it had been abandoned by a family who left for vacation in 1994 and never returned. Yet the shell itself still had usable structure, and that was enough for builder Ian Roussel and his crew to begin imagining something truly bizarre. Technically speaking, the project was far more complicated than simply dropping a trailer onto an old chassis. The original Dodge no longer had a functioning drivetrain, and the engine itself was basically dead. The steering still worked, but the vehicle had to be dragged into the workshop using an ATV because it could not move under its own power. That alone tells you how insane this build was. Most restorers begin with a running vehicle. The doors came off, the bumpers disappeared, and eventually much of the rear bodywork was removed entirely. Since the trailer chassis would replace the rear structure, only the front section of the Dodge really mattered mechanically. The surviving front chassis rails, suspension, steering system, firewall, and nose section became the foundation for the new hybrid machine. The Dodge originally rode on a body-on-frame platform common during the late 1930s. Vehicles from that era used heavy steel ladder frames capable of surviving terrible roads and decades of abuse. That strength actually helped the Cabana car project enormously because the remaining front section could be welded directly to the camper structure without immediately twisting into scrap metal. Builders fabricated mounting points, reinforced the joints, and carefully aligned the camper shell to the Dodge nose so the proportions looked intentionally ridiculous instead of accidentally terrible. Dimensionally, the finished creation became enormous compared to the original sedan. A normal 1939 Dodge passenger car measured roughly 196 inches long, about 16 feet or 5 meters. Once fused with the trailer body, the Cabana car stretched significantly farther, creating a machine with the visual balance of a parade float designed by someone drinking discount whiskey beside a welding torch. The front suspension retained much of its vintage Dodge geometry, including independent-style front hardware typical of late -1930s American engineering. The steering linkage also survived, which is impressive considering the car looked like it had fought in 3 wars and lost all of them. Massive rounded fenders framed front wheels, while later the builders reused the original rear Dodge fenders over the camper wheels to visually tie the whole thing together. What truly makes the Cabana car unforgettable is not speed, luxury, or practicality. It is the design philosophy hiding beneath all that madness. Modern RV companies spend millions designing aerodynamic boxes that all resemble oversized refrigerators escaping from a parking lot. Meanwhile, the Cabana car proudly looks like a 1930s gangster sedan swallowed a beach house during a tornado. And somehow, it works beautifully. The builders intentionally kept the scars and personality alive instead of over-restoring everything into sterile perfection. The Dodge front end still carries those dramatic flowing fenders, thick grille lines, and long hood proportions that made late -1930s American cars feel elegant. Then suddenly the camper body begins, creating a bizarre but charming transition between vintage automobile and mobile Cabana lounge. Even better, the front section of the camper was cut open so the cockpit connects directly to the living space. You enter through the camper door instead of traditional car doors, which feels delightfully absurd. It is basically a rolling studio apartment for people who think zoning laws are merely creative suggestions. Inside, the camper remained relatively simple. The builders focused more on preserving atmosphere than creating luxury. The original Dodge dashboard was installed into the cabin area, blending old automotive styling with trailer functionality. Fresh paint, wood trim, custom metalwork, and carefully shaped panels cleaned up the exterior stitching where the two vehicles met. The result feels less like a polished factory product and more like a rebellious art project escaping from the 1950s. Honestly, if Salvador Dali had opened an RV dealership, this probably would have been parked out front beside a flamingo statue. Compared with factory-built campers or restored vintage motorhomes, the Cabana car exists in its own strange category. It shares spirit with custom hot rods, rat rods, art cars, and hand-built campers, but does not fully belong to any of them. During the late 1930s and early 1940s, companies like Dodge, Chevrolet, and Ford produced stylish cars that later became favorites among hot rod builders because of their strong frames and dramatic curves. Decades later, custom culture exploded across America, especially in California, where builders began mixing classic vehicles with outrageous personal ideas. Now let us finally talk money, because weird custom machines always create fascinating auction story. Back in the late 1930s, a new Dodge sedan could cost roughly $800 to $1,100, depending on trim and equipment. Adjusted for inflation, that equals around $18,000 to $25,000 today. Of course, the Cabana car itself is essentially priceless, because it is a one-off handmade creation. But honestly, the Cabana car is more than a custom project. It is proof that creativity still matters in the automotive world. In an age where every vehicle is filled with warning sensors, subscription fees, and touch screens bigger than my first apartment television, this machine reminds us that personality cannot be mass-produced.